DDR5 might be worse for gamers. GeForce drops the ball in a really big way. And then we've got new GPU and new CPU news coming out. Let's dive in. This month, I'm giving away a G Pro Wireless and a G613. Check out the description to see how you can enter. What's up, guys? Andrew here at my channel, GearedInc, where I get to share what I'm passionate about with you. To my channel, it's PC tech, games, and gear. Let's start off today's tech news with DDR5. So supposedly, DDR5 might actually be worse for gamers at the higher speeds due to the much higher cache latency that comes associated with it. If you want to know relative performance or kind of how that works, you should watch my old review on RAM speed versus cache latency. It will give you a general idea of the differences because typically speed does trump cache latency unless cache latency or cache latency, however you want to say that, is really, really high, and then in which case it just doesn't. And if you want a rough idea of how that works, imagine you have a train that's going from a major city hub to a transit station. Now, the speed of your RAM would be how fast the train is traveling to that station. Once it gets there, it is going to load columns of instructions. Imagine these are lines of people. That is your cache latency. So it doesn't matter how fast the train is getting to the station if the people aren't getting in the train very quickly, and that's basically the problem when it comes to how this is affecting gaming. Moving into new Intel news, Alder Lake Pricing has supposedly leaked, and if to be believed, it's going to be very competitive with Intel. We have got benchmark leaks showing that in terms of gaming, these CPUs are going to be anywhere from 15 to 25% more powerful than the current AMD generation, along with more powerful multi-core as well against the higher offerings from AMD, even though that's not nearly as significant. However, if Intel does come out with a product that takes the crown when it comes to gaming and is at least as good in multi-core for almost the same price, it's going to be very, very competitive. And for a guy like me who has zero brand loyalty, I have no problem going right back to Intel if they have the better product at the better price. Obviously, building a new gaming rig without a GPU is not going to make a whole lot of sense, and that's why GPUs coming out of China is very interesting. So China has been working on lessening their dependence on other countries for everything from toilet paper to graphics cards, and they basically have started to develop their own silicon when it comes to making CPUs and GPUs. These are currently based on pre-existing architectures, but interestingly enough, their new GPUs are supposedly going to be as fast as 1080s, which isn't dramatic compared to like current generation cards, but the fact that they've been able to make that much ground in a few short years is pretty impressive. So we may have a fourth company out there providing GPUs, even though you may only be able to buy it in China, which may be better for the wider market because that means there's less demand in one country, more supply for everybody else, which I think would be a good thing. Now, speaking of GPU companies, Nvidia, specifically their GeForce Now, which is their cloud-based gaming, had a huge leak that came out. So an internal list of some of the games that they tested or expecting to test was released on the web, and they have confirmed that this list is accurate, even though some of the games were just speculative and have not been released yet. What's more interesting is that there are Sony exclusive titles that were on this list, either showing that they are going to potentially add support for Sony exclusives, or that it's the very least possible and they had, kind of crossovers that they were able to test and mess around with. Now, obviously, that's not going to sit good with a lot of Sony fans who quite honestly buy their consoles for the exclusives. A lot of them do. That's why I did. Although this is good news for publishers because that means you will have more platforms that you get to sell your games on, meaning more money in their pockets. So, I don't know who wins or loses in this scenario, but it just shows that exclusive games are not going to probably remain exclusive for very long. And wrapping up, speaking of Sony, they finally released support for adding more solid state space. Goodness, we needed it because modern games take up so much storage. So you can load up their new solid states now. This is going to be supported. I'm going to be doing a video on this, by the way, if you're interested in that. So make sure to check back for that at a later time. So anyway, guys, that's the tech news I found interesting, and I wanted to just kind of go through it with you. If you enjoyed this video, leave me a big thumbs up. If you thought it was terrible, leave me a thumbs down. Remember to get subscribed and hit that bell icon so you know when these videos drop next. Enter the giveaway for the wireless mouse and wireless keyboard I'm doing if you haven't already. And as always, I'm going to make these videos whether you watch them or not, but I hope you do. And I hope to see every single one of you next time here on GearedInc.